Hello everyone, this is, not so much a video response because I don't think Roy sort of meant to start a thread, but he did a video I guess was sort of so popular and interesting that lots of other people have recorded their take on it or kind of done a response on it. So it was his favourite films from each genre. So yeah, doing mine, a few genres I'm not too um, informed about. So, for example, romance. I struggle to actually find any romance films in my collection. Don't really like rom coms and stuff like that. So everybody, I'm sure you're subscribed to Roy from Blue Roy Movies, but if you're not, then go and check out his channel. Really great channel, good guy, excellent film knowledge. So here's my take on it. I'll try not to go on too long. Some of them I'm sort of struggling to, categorize them. Um, Put them into like a correct category. Some are sort of hard to define, so to speak. Let's get started. So I've gone with drama. I mean, I was thinking of doing a subsect of prison films, but yeah. So favorite drama, I would say, is The Shawshank Redemption, directed by Frank Darabont with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Got this on 4K. Sure, everybody knows this. I'll try not to talk about them too long because, otherwise it's going to go on a long time. So I think I've thought of quite a lot of subcategories. Next genre, I don't know if there's a genre as such. It could be, put within drama, but I thought I'd do it as a genre because it's a type of film I watch a lot of. So world cinema. So yeah, you've got Old Boy, my favourite world cinema film. I mean, Pan's Labyrinth is quite closely up there, and as of recently, Parasite by Bong Joon Ho has sort of made it up in the list. But yeah, for one I've watched the most and sort of go back to and just enjoy every time. I think it's like a flawless film. My top 5 films ever. I'd have to say Old Boy. What have we got next? This one very hard to define. Could be horror, could be thriller, but I've kind of put in creature feature. So Jaws by Steven Spielberg. Sure, everybody knows this. Absolutely classic, flawless film. In my top 5 films ever. Same as Old Boy. So it's quite, like I say, quite a hard one to define, really. It. I wouldn't really say it's a horror. Yeah, I was thinking of putting it in thriller, but I've got a lot of choices for thriller. So yeah, I thought I'd put that in creature feature. Next, I've got a biopic. I think this is based on a true story. I'm not a massive kind of biopic guy in terms of, some people will have, say, Walk the Line by Johnny Cash or things based on like real life people, especially musicians and that. Whereas this is alive. I think it's based on a true story. I'm sure this has happened in history. Directed by Frank Marshall, starring Ethan Hawke, Vincent Spano, and Josh Hamilton. I think it's quite a young Ethan Hawke in this, to be fair. So it's basically a story of an aeroplane's flying, I think, over the Andes with like a Uruguayan rugby American football team, sorry, and it sort of hits a mountain, the tail comes off, they all sort of get sucked out the back, and then they're all stranded in the snow. I don't think it's really a spoiler to say that they kind of have to, there's a chance they might have to resort to cannibalism to survive. So yeah, that is based on a true story, I'm pretty sure. What have we got next? Thriller. I mean, again, this was kind of hard to narrow down whether this was a thriller or not, but Unbreakable. I guess it kind of can be put in the thriller category. But yeah, Sixth Sense used to be my favourite M. Night Shyamalan film, and then watched this years ago when I think it sort of first aired on TV, premiered or something. Did enjoy it, but you're talking that 20 years ago. And then, watched it again recently when Ash from Popcorn and Horror sent me this Blu-ray. I don't think I'd even had it on DVD before. And yeah, I was really blown away with this. I was kind of thinking it could be like a superhero film, really, but obviously it's a bit more ambiguous to the story, how it pans along. But I think this is probably now my favourite M. Night Shyamalan film, one of my favourite Bruce Willis performances, although he is great in Sixth Sense. And probably gone above Sixth Sense and Signs as my sort of top 3 Shyamalan. But I think that's my class as a thriller. Next, you've got an adventure films. So I don't really have too many adventure, but from the Indiana Jones, I'd say trilogy, because I've not actually seen Crystal Skull or it's the newest one, Crap of Destiny or something it might be called. Yeah, kind of hard to choose. It always used to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then when I recently watched Temples of Doom, that did go up in my estimation. But just from one I used to love as a kid and I've watched the most, yeah, I'd have to say Raiders of the Lost Ark as my favourite adventure film. Uh, Next, we've got animated. Quite hard to choose this. So Disney's Robin Hood, one of my favourites, especially as a kid. Clan of a Chance of Meatballs, really good one, but I had to go for this British classic Watership Down. So yeah, I watched this a lot as a kid. Kind of used to traumatise me a bit as a kid, but still loved it. Yeah, got this 4K BFI set, and yeah, I'm watching this a little while ago when I got it. The 4K, the music, the picture, it's just amazing, and yeah, it's a bit more deep. Should I say a bit deeper than a lot of animated films? It's a bit more going on, tells you about sort of life and death, and yeah, it's quite a brutal, savage film in places, but still beautiful at the same time. Next, you've got comedy. So yeah, obviously, if there's some honourable mentions, I will sort of mention them as I go along. So yeah, I think With Nell and I and A Fish Called Wanda, probably better made films, but a comedy's job, really, in my opinion, is to make you laugh. And no film has ever made me laugh as much as Step Brothers. So I've seen this multiple times, and you think, once you know the jokes, will it still be funny? But yeah, every time I watch this, that literally got me crying to the point I can't breathe. Some of the parts in this. Never was really a massive fan of Will Ferrell. Didn't really watch much with him in, but just seen some of the trailers and just thought he seemed like an immature kind of actor, or he'd be in sort of immature films. And when I seen the trailer for this, I kind of thought it looked funny, but it could be really silly and like childish. But yeah, I'm watching it. Just yeah, absolutely side splitting, as some people would say. Next, you've got musical, which is a hard genre for me because I don't own many musicals. Was thinking of The Wizard of Oz, but I'm not really sure that's a musical, so I've got that spoiler alert in its own category later. But yeah, without sort of naming too many of them, ones like Grease and Dirty Dancing, I just kind of find too cheesy. Some sort of films that just really make me cringe. I just can't really take sort of cheesy and not kind of into just depressing films, but I find some films where they're trying to be too happy just kind of seems over the top and yeah, don't really land for me. So I've gone for a bit of a darker musical, Dancer in the Dark, Lars von Trier film with Bjork. Yeah, didn't really know too much of Bjork as a music artist, other than she had that hit in the 90s called Quiet, I think it was called, which I can't say is one I'd sort of buy and listen to, but yeah, I didn't mind it and it was popular at the time. Really only got this because I was sort of buying Lars von Trier films, and yeah, I assumed having her in it would have her acting, but yeah, she'd be singing some songs. But the little songs she does actually really work in the context of the film. They're not really musical numbers. They're just, she'll sing to herself as she's doing things. But yeah, she's a really good actress. But yeah, very devastating, depressing, powerful film. It's one of those kind of landscape on the back. But yeah, first time I watched this, sort of really surprised me. Not just that how good a film it is, but yeah, just so bleak, and that's kind of sounds bad, but that's the kind of musical I like. Honorable mention would go to South Park, the movie, which obviously is like a kind of silly cartoon musical, but I really enjoy that, and I do actually think some of the songs are catchy. I think Blame Canada actually got nominated for, is it like a Emmy or a BAFTA, whatever they call it in America. And then I think Trey Parker and Matt Stone turned up to it on LSD, like zonked out their mind, which is just a funny side story. Next, I've got Superhero, which is quite hard to narrow down. I was thinking of putting Unbreakable in this, but it's not a straight up superhero film. Captain America Civil War is one of my favourites. Kind of comes off to me as a bit more of like a I think it's set World War II rather than World War One spy drama. Then obviously the original Batman, but yeah, I've gone for Batman Returns. Dark Knight, also an honourable mention. Batman Begins, I really enjoy. A lot of it now, I think the market's just saturated, and Blade, yeah, another honourable. I try not to mention too many honourable mentions, but yeah, Batman Returns. I remember seeing this, I think it was on Christmas Eve as a kid. Not only enjoyed it, but yeah, now it's got a kind of nostalgia. Even though it's not a direct Christmas film, it has a Christmassy vibe. I think it's Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken, falls into like the massive Christmas tree in, is it Times Square? Yeah, probably my favourite Tim Burton film. Great soundtrack, score, would you call it, by Danny Elfman, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken. Michael Gough, Pat Hingle, Michael Murphy. Yeah, just sort of really hits the spot of a kind of darker, more sort of sinister superhero film for me. Right, next we've got. Sorry if I'm looking up here. I'm just kind of looking at the list of what categories I've got, just in case I confuse any of them. So this one is fantasy. So yes, honorable mention to Labyrinth, which as a kid was like my favorite film ever. Watched it so many times, I knew every single word to it. But yeah, as an adult, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say Return of the King. The Battle of Minas Tirith is just so epic. You've never seen anything like that. I mean, Two Towers, to be fair, it's got the epic Helm's Deep battle, Fellowship of the Ring, the bit when they go in the mines of Moria with the goblins come out and the Balrog. What do they call him? But Duradin's Flame, I think. But yeah, Return of the King, I think sort of best film. No sort of action bits, epic scenes with like the Easterlings come with the Mumakils, like the big like elephant mammoth creatures. A few sort of cheesy, silly bits, like when Elrond's like running along the mammoths, taking them down. But I guess if he's like a highly tuned elf, then maybe he could do that. But yeah, always been a fan of like the books and the animated series by Rolf Bakshi. That was a contender for favorite animated film. But yeah, kind of all three of these. You know, I've got the extended cut, probably going on 4 hours long, but I just don't get bored. I could just watch it all day long. Next, we've got the romance. So yeah, looking through the collection, I really couldn't find many romance. I was even thinking of going in like Audition, which kind of is a romance, or even like The Piano Teacher, or what's that other one by Lars von Trier? Let's see if I can see it down there. Breaking the Waves, but yeah, I went with Ghost. So yeah, it is a romance, but it does actually have some quite dark moments when the shadow demons come to like pull people to hell. And you've got that kind of ghost guy. It's like a subway scene with him in. Demi Moore looks really good in this. Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg, directed by Jerry Zucker. Who does the soundtrack? I always say soundtrack score. Maurice Jarre, I think you pronounce it. But yeah, it kind of is a romance, I would say. I mean, it's got the scene when it plays the Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, are they called? And they're sculpted in the clay, and yeah, that's one of the most like what's the word, like satire kind of scene ever. They've done it in like Family Guy, Simpsons, even Wallace and Gromit have done a bit of that. But yeah, for a romance kind of film, it has got a bit more of an edge to it, a bit more sort of dark with like obviously ghostly kind of things, so a bit more up my street than normal romance films. Next, I've gone for like historical kind of film. Yeah, I guess you could class it as an epic. Obviously, I don't have Ben-Hur and a lot of those kind of epic ones, but yeah, one I used to love as a kid. Quite a brutal film, but really well acted, and one of Mel Gibson's best, in my opinion, is Braveheart. So yeah, don't own many steelbooks, but yeah, do have the Blu-ray steelbook for this. I think when I bought it, like I've said in the past on other steelbooks I've showed, it was pretty much the same price in HMV. Probably got this like 12 years ago plus. Pretty much the same price on the steelbook as it was the standard Blu-ray. So yeah, it's not so much I'm a steelbook collector as such. It's just, yeah, obviously if I can pick them up on steelbook for a film I really like, then I do. But yeah, it's like a 2-disc edition. Yeah, not only a well-made film and an epic cinematography in that, but yeah, some really brutal scenes, some really good battles. Before Lord of the Rings, probably had some of the biggest sort of, when I say biggest, most people included in a battle scene. I've watched films in the past where there's a battle going on, but it only zooms in to like, 5 people in the direct battle. You can't sort of see the grand scope of it. Whereas, yeah, this is epic, and then there's a few shocking moments. I won't sort of spoil it, but the woman that's kind of tied up to like the wooden pole kind of thing, I would say. Yeah, Passion of the Christ I was thinking of as well. But yeah, for me, yeah, probably the best film I've seen Mel Gibson in. I don't actually know if Mel Gibson directs this or he just stars in it. Feels like a film he directs. Obviously, with these steelbooks, there is no information. So let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure Stuart George pretty sure he's a fan of that, so I suspect he'll know whether it's actually directed by Mel Gibson or just starring him. Next, I've got film noir, but to be fair, I don't have many film noirs. I'm pretty sure this is a film noir. The Night of the Hunter, with Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters. What year is this from? 1955. It's black and white, but it kind of looks tinted, I think. But yeah, Robert Mitchum, not only creepy in this, but so what's the word? Not just moralless. He's basically some children have like got. Have they inherited it or they've hid it? I haven't seen this in years. Work of the Lord is to come. Hate. Yeah, I think basically he sees the children like hiding or inheriting like $10,000, and then he wants to get it. He's got love and hate tattooed on his knuckles. I've heard a lot of Robert Mitchum films are good, directed by Charles Laughton. 1 hour 29. Yeah, I've sort of heard of a few other film noirs, but yeah, I think this is one of the only ones I own, and yeah, really enjoyed this. I think I've only watched it once. I haven't watched it for years, so I'd have to watch it again. But yeah, that's my favourite film noir that I've seen. I think Roy did say a lot of them are on like YouTube, so I might start watching a few more film noir because it's a category or subgenre, should I say, that yeah, not really sort of too up on. This one, I guess it could come under thriller. Maybe some people even put it under horror, but I put it as crime. So yeah, for crime, Scarface, Silence of the Lambs, few I was thinking of. Silence of the Lambs is really well made film, but yeah, for me, I'd say 7. Not just great chemistry between Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Maybe my favourite David Fincher film. It's out of this and Fight Club. Yeah, it's really dark. Like the style of it. Really great ending. Some really good sort of original sort of kill scenes. The bit with, is it called Sloth? Where the guy's been sort of tied to the bed and starved and things. Yeah, really brutal scene. Quite a shocking bit in that. Kevin Spacey is in it, but he does play a villain. So after what we've learned about him since, it kind of he really sort of fits as a villain a bit better because yeah, he does sound villainous in real life. Yeah, at the time, this was like a real sort of groundbreaking film, not just based around the 7 sins, but yeah, for like a mainstream film, it is quite sort of dark with some quite disturbing graphic violence and things. Next, I've gone drama. So again, I'm not the biggest kind of drama guy. I've always been more into not just darker things like horror and sci-fi and like foreign cinema, but obviously I've got a lot of animated and family films and things. But yeah, kind of thought, yeah, I think this is a drama one, but also kind of ties in with favourite Christmas film. So It's a Wonderful Life, directed by Frank Capra, starring James Stewart, Donna Reed, Lionel Barrymore, Belu Bondi, and Gloria Graham. But yeah, this is the first time I watched this last Christmas, and obviously I've heard all the hype about it. It's a long film. What is it? It's got to be like 2 hours 20. Can't actually see a running time on it, but yeah, obviously I heard all the hype, and sometimes when you watch these sort of older so-called classics, you might be disappointed, but no, not only did it live up to the hype, yeah, really magical. I guess, yeah, first half is kind of a bit more of like a business kind of film where he's like setting up his business and stuff, and then it sort of goes into Christmas elements, and it's got some real quotable bits like where he says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. But yeah, for a first viewing, really impressed me. So yeah, I'd kind of lump this in with, I didn't really do a Christmas section, I forgot that, but yeah, mostly say a drama, but does have like Christmas setting, obviously. Wondering if I've actually forgot to do a family one, but that would be quite easy to choose, so I'll bring it down if I haven't got one in the pile. I'm not sure it's really a genre, but I wanted to put it in there, and yeah, was tempted to put it in with musicals, but I've just gone under the sort of genre of classic, Wizard of Oz. So yeah, a lot of films that I watched when I was a kid stuck with me, but not so much as this film. Not just that I enjoyed it and it's got like good songs that I actually like as someone that isn't a massive fan of like songs in films and musicals, but yeah, when I was a kid I was watching it in black and white and I was enjoying it, and obviously once it goes to Oz and it turns into colour, it just blew my mind. Never seen anything like that in a film where, you know, just starts with black and white and then turns to colour. But yeah, even though I hadn't watched it for a long time, I mean, I say a long time, it's on every Christmas, bank holiday, Easter, so I watched it a lot. We had it on like recorded off the TV kind of VHS on a recordable tape, like numbered when I was a kid and used to watch it. But yeah, it must have been the time I didn't watch it for about 10 years. still remembered all the songs and stuff. Obviously, it's one of the most influential films. 1939, so what, coming up to like 90 years old? Still timeless in my opinion. Um, yeah, I mean, is it a musical? I guess so. I'm not kind of too up on how many songs does it need and that to constitute as a musical. So obviously a lot of the Disney classics, or even like Lion King, Aladdin, they have say 3 to 5 musical numbers, but I guess they're classed as animated rather than musicals. Whereas Fantasia, I guess, is a proper musical. Next, we're going for horror, but I mean, this could be classed as a sci-fi horror, so a bit tricky, but John Carpenter's The Thing. Obviously, this is my favourite film of all time, the film I've watched the most, so I'm sure nobody's shocked I would choose this. But yeah, it could sort of go under sci-fi, really, but I've saved sci-fi for another one, which is a bit contentious or dubious, really, to what genre it is. But yeah, sure, everybody's seen The Thing. Not just I rewatch it a lot because I enjoy it, but I find every time you watch it, you get more out of it. Sort of spot little things. It's a very ambiguous film where you never really know not just who the thing is at the end, without spoiling it. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but also who gets infected first. When say the dog goes into the room and you sort of see him go up somebody's hand, or you see the shadow of him, who is it, and does he infect him then? There's little bits you can sort of see where I think Carpenter himself said, watch out for bits when people's got eyes shining in the camera, could be a clue. Other people are saying when they breathe in the snow, if they've got steam coming out, that's a clue. But yeah, it's just a film you can watch like time and time again, not only learn stuff, but try and sort of make up your own mind. And Carpenter's never really released who it actually is and left it ambiguous. So it rewards repeated viewings. But yeah, really like the soundtrack with that kind of thudding like electro bit. Amazing intro with dog running through the snow and the helicopter. Loads of great stunts, best practical effects ever in my opinion. Never seen another film with such a feeling of not just isolation but paranoia of everybody else in the camp. One of the best jump scares ever with the blood in the petri dish. Yeah, it just covers absolutely all bases in my opinion. Next, action, which I was kind of struck. I guess I should have put them in alphabetical order of genres, would have made it easier for me. Was thinking of Predator, but again, that could be sort of put in horror, sci-fi, or action. When I was younger, Predator I absolutely loved. Terminator, one of my favourites, but again, is that an action? Is that a sci-fi? Whereas this, I'd say, a straight-up action. First Blood by Sylvester Stallone. I've got this on DVD, which I watched the DVD probably about a year ago. Upgraded to the Blu-ray. Went to watch it the other night on this Blu-ray. And bought this from CEX, and crazily enough, CEX had actually put Rambo 2 in there. Don't know if you could see that. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I have seen 2 and 3 and that in the past. Heard even the more recent ones are good as well. But yeah, just really love the like setting in the like forest. Unlike a lot of action films, there is a bit more subtext to it. I think sort of Roy said once, this is like a film on how not to treat people. See, who was that actually directed by? Can I see? Ted Kotcheff? I think I've seen other films by him, but can't name him off the top of my head. But yeah, definitely my favourite Sylvester Stallone film. I really do enjoy the Rocky films, but yeah, for me, gotta be my favourite action film, I would have to say. Predator up there close, and yeah, Terminator, if you class it as an action film, close as well. Next, I've got martial arts. So yeah, as a kid, I used to do martial art. Well, I did martial arts for years and years, various martial arts. But when I was like 9, I'd watch martial arts films like Bloodsport and Jackie Chan films, and then I'd jump around the living room pretending I was doing kicks and stuff. But I found a lot of martial arts films, it was really the content of the actual martial arts, more that I'll Enter the Dragon, actually, a very honourable mention. But yeah, it's more the context of the actual fighting than the actual film around it. Ong Bak, another honourable mention. Story and that's good, but yeah, the best stunt work I've ever seen by Tony Jaa in any film. Some of the stuff he's doing, not just the fighting, but bits when he like jumps through a barbed wire hoop, does a flying cartwheel through 2 panes of glass like that far apart, does the splits and slides under cars. He really is doing it all. But for actual story and filmmaking, as well as the martial arts, I'd have to say Fist of Legend by Jet Li. So yeah, real epic kind of story. A bit like, say, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or House of Flying Daggers, where, you know, it's got a bit more scope in that than most martial arts films. But yeah, some of the choreography and the fighting by Jet Li in this, amazing. My favourite film by Jet Li, wasn't so much a fan once he started going off and doing what's it called, like The One and Romeo Must Die, and he started getting a bit into silly action films, in my opinion. This one I'm going to lump in sci-fi, but it could have been horror. I had to put it in there. Alien. So yeah, probably my second favourite film ever. Ridley Scott classic. Very shamefully, I had to leave out Blade Runner from sci-fi and Terminator, if you class that as a sci-fi. A lot of good sci-fis I really enjoy. Event Horizon, Cube I quite enjoy, but yeah, Alien. Some people would argue it's more of a horror. I'd say sci-fi horror, a bit like The Thing is. But yeah, I thought I'd lump Thing in with horror because it's a bit more visceral, with more sort of body horror. Whereas yeah, Alien, absolutely archetypal sci-fi horror, but yeah, putting it in sci-fi. Spoke about this recently on my recent watches, so I won't bang on about Alien too much. Next, I've gone with war films, and yeah, a lot of people would probably choose like a World War II. I've got like the Battle of the Bulge, watched it when I was a kid, but can't really remember it. Got a few more Dam Busters, ones that are sort of meant to be classics, but I'd have to go. I mean, it's set in World War II, but it's a bit more, I'd say, modern. It's got to be, what, 20 odd years old now? But yeah, Saving Private Ryan, great Spielberg film. One of the best roles by Tom Hanks. Also got Edward Burns, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore. Quite a gory, sort of crazy. I mean, I'm surprised it's only a 15, really, because there are some intense scenes. I think the second half isn't as great as the first half, to be fair. But yeah, I do need to upgrade this really onto Blu-ray or 4K. Haven't watched it in years. Have to give it a rewatch. But yeah, sure, everybody knows Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, when I think of war films, I think more of like World War One or World War Two. But obviously, you've got your Vietnam films, so Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, Hamburger Hill, all honourable mention. And this might be the most contentious category, I guess, is westerns. So I'm sure when I get round to watching it, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is going to be my favourite from the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood. Years ago, I've seen Tombstone, Dirty Harry films, but when I was a kid, so I can't remember them too much. But yeah, westerns obviously one I need to like get more involved in, get a better knowledge. But yeah, I think this is a western for me. But yeah, The Revenant. So it's like a winter western, I would call it. But yeah, amazingly made, brilliant cinematography. Some of the scenes, I'm like, how did they film that? Leonardo DiCaprio really seems to suffer for the role. Tom Hardy, a great villain in it. Set in, I think it's Canada, like Nova Scotia. It's like 2 hours, 149 minutes, but didn't drag. Yeah, I watched this again recently, was blown away, and would sort of put that as like a 5-star film. And then I did kind of forget family film, so I'll bring it down. I guess that's a kind of its own genre. It's the original Jurassic Park, one of my favourites ever. So yeah, I've done a top films ranking in the past. I won't do another one because it hasn't really changed too much, but yeah, I'd have to say The Thing is number 1, Alien is number 2, Old Boy is number 3, Jaws is number 4, and then Jurassic Park is number 5. So yeah, I got quite a lot of those in this list. So yeah, I think that's all of the genres I could think of. I might be missing out some, but let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you to Roy for coming up with this great idea for a video. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or if you don't think, say, The Revenant is a western, or you'd say Alien is a horror, not a sci-fi, or The Thing is a sci-fi, not a horror. Always interested in people's feedback. I won't tag anyone or anything because yeah, I don't think it was an official thread. But if anybody wants to do their own version, it'll be interesting to see. Imagine Sammy G might do one. I know Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm has done one. I think obviously Roy's done his. Ellery Fiddler did one. I think it was his first video. Most people have probably kept it shorter than me, so this has gone on for nearly 30 minutes. So sorry, but as you know, there's a reason my channel's called Tim's Film Waffle. I can't even say the name of my own channel. Just looking quickly to check I haven't forgot any other subgenres or genres in general. I don't think so. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. So thank you everybody for watching. Bye.